了多少的食物。
On screen 5, we have the worldometer, breathlessly tracking government data, economics, food, water, energy, and health. On screen 6, here, almost like data checking itself in the mirror or taking its own pulse, we see real-time statistics galore from the internet, showing usage, cyber attacks, email volume per second, spam blocked, social media tallies. We can see the human flock twittering away, and even live edits on Wikipedia. My, what a busy species we are. On screen 7, there's a familiar set of data, the endless flux of global markets. What can go up can also go down. And it's followed by current global debt by country. On screen 8, there are 2 data streams that are surely part of every situation room. Global emergencies and global crises, floods, bombs, protests, earthquakes. The alarms that demand response. On screen 9, we have a detailed look over the indices tracked by the Human Development Index of the UN, a staggering set of updating tabulations that are trying to give us a picture of how humanity is doing. And on screen 10, what would any real-time searching for answers look be without Google? Here is the instant graphing of what we're searching for in Google Trends, real-time, across the world, at every moment. And finally, we have a 3D printer, yet another step in our evolution. The evolution of our technologies that will probably transform, slowly at first, and then rapidly, forcing us to adapt our business models, our social organization, and many other impossible to imagine parameters of our lives. You can come and have a closer look at it during the forum. So there we have it, a broad sweep over the world at the moment, pushing in on us here in the tent in Tällberg. These bits and bytes lie at the base of what the late Russ Aikoff, one of the true mentors of our Tällberg learning process, called the pyramid of knowledge: data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. If we can understand the dynamics of the evolution, the development of the arts, sciences, technology, and our many different forms of social organization, and better understand what we don't know, could we make smarter decisions? Could we better handle the integrated nature of the systems we are creating and through which we operate? Understanding is a prerequisite for intelligent adaptation. It's a hard act to realize, a cognitive challenge of the first order. But shouldn't we try? Look at this data. Big data, enormous data, data beyond our wildest imagination. Imagine if it gives us access to what we know and helps us understand what we don't, and yet still enables us to make a decision. So let's get on with the forum. Surrounded by all the streaming data of our world, we need a profoundly human reference point for our conversation, so let me introduce Bo Ekman and Cecilia Lundström. And Paula Garnstedt.
Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, friends, welcome to the Situation Room, where the world comes together and comes apart at the very same time.
All these images that we follow are not always in sync with each other or readily easily understood. These are pulsating streams, information flows, rhythms, connected, disconnected, or in search of connectivity to create new forms, new life, new patterns, even higher forms of life than we know. Were we ever, life, that is, at rest, Probably not. Perhaps music emerged out of the pulsating rhythm of the cell. Cells merging, cells dividing. Music is as old as life.
In this world of natural and artificial complexities, we long for stillness. But the world is coming together and coming apart at the same time. Existence is always in contradiction with itself. Signals, rhythms, harmonies, the sounds of context came out of the wind, out of the birds, out of the whales, and then from our lips. Of course, we, the humans, could communicate before we had language, not that long ago.
We live in an ever-emerging situation that prods us to make sense, and even more sense, and new sense. That is the fundamental role of music. Vale. The raindrops fall in rhythm, pattern with music. This building you saw on the last picture is from one of the most wonderful research institutions on Earth, CERN. Now, this is not CERN. This is Tahiti. This is Paul Gauguin's image of existence. He asked with this canvas 3 questions. Where do we come from? Where are we? And where are we going? That's for you to solve over the next few days.
And now you'll give your reflections on video.
Yeah, I will share a few reflections with you, with some music and some images that Jim Wine helped me brilliantly to bring to life.
At one of the very first Tällberg workshops back in the early 1980s, we coined the term glocal. You know, we imagined a future where local differences could be contained by a wider interactive global system. A good 30 years hence, this is not the case. Genetically, humanity is the same. Culturally, we are different. Sometimes very different. At best, we have local optimism, but matched by global pessimism. The the reason for us being more positive to the immediate cultural, technological and economic environments is that familiarity gives a sense of control, true or false. On the global systems level, we lack that sense of control, false or true. One of the major problems of the international system is the distrust to what is different from ourselves. The conceptual umbrella, the theme for our discussions here is the world at a crossroad, making sense of globalization. But I'm not sure that we are or that we ever have been at a crossroad as a humanity, embedded in its wider and diverse contexts of evolutionary forces. This way or this way, that way or that way, left or right, light or left, up or down, east or west. We tend to organize, simplify our choices to binaries, for or against. Looking down into the eons of history, can we hand on heart justify the conclusions that we, the humans, ever have or will control the future with rationality, foresight, predictability, methodology? No, we cannot, but for a very short while, freeze the future, make it plannable. Staying long-term is but illusionary. We yearn for sustainability, but drive change of our existence into the unknown, never accepting to be at the end of the road. The tragic scientist, mathematician and technological genius Alan Turing said, "We can only look a very short distance into the future, but also there is much to do." Neither rulers or religions, nor ideologies or schools of thought, theories, have ever succeeded in creating a lasting future of their choice. Napoleon only lasted for a short while. So did Ashok, so did the Nazis, so did the British Empire, or the Roman Empire, or the Pharaohs, so did the Soviet Union, so will the United States. The future is an abstraction. It is a still unused resource, always subject to a complex set of evolutionary forces and of human ideas. Is the future under control? It is not. The human species has, since deep history, strived to control its environment with the help of gods and technologies. Buckminster Fuller, the American philosopher and educator, remarked, "There is no use trying to change human nature. It has been the same for a very, very long time." Instead, he advised, go for the tools. Better softwares, better hardwares make better practices. The stone axe preceded economy, not the other way around. That is the pragmatic position. Edward Wilson, the biologist and naturalist, points out, along with other biologists and geneticists, that the human is primarily as selfish as any other living organism. But soon enough, our species discovered that it was better off and safer off by sharing with family, next of kin, tribe, and later down the path of social evolution with nations. We started to pay taxes. Selfishness was modified by altruism because it served a purpose. First extended to a few, and down the line of social evolution, even a vision of a united nations emerged. Solidarity with amongst everyone. But that is a vision still to be realized, if ever. Social and cultural evolution of Homo sapiens has in itself been the process of natural selection over perhaps as long as 200,000 years. The lineage of the evolution of social organization is not a function of predictable choice. It is a history of what made sense at the time of the decision, in incessant pursuit of control of the circumstances of life at the time. We constantly strive for a higher level of imagined security, only to find out that there is yet another level, and then yet another level to be achieved. It is a combination of vanity and hubris to ever promise a final, lasting solution controlling nature. But also social evolution moves on. Here we have 6 voices who took on the task, the enormous task to preactively push social evolution into new dividends. They thereby challenged the behavior and power structure of the existing, the presence. They were early innovators, perhaps early adapters of social behavior. Wilson would say EU social behavior. They paid their price to be at the edge of natural selection of social change.
I regard myself as a soldier, though a soldier of peace. I know the value of discipline and truth.
Ever since the Declaration of Human Rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, was passed in Paris in 1948 on December the 10th, we have fostered the observance of this day not only in the United States, but throughout the world. The object is to make people everywhere conscious of the importance of human rights and freedom.
And above all our convictions stands the truth, once expressed by a Swedish poet when he said that the greatest prayer of man does not ask for victory, but for peace.
What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not a Pax Americana, enforced on the world by American weapons of war. Not the peace of the grave, or the security of the slave. I'm talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living, the kind that enables men and nations to grow and to hope.
I'm talking about a love that is so strong that it organizes itself into a mass movement. Says somehow, I am my brother's keeper. And he's so wrong that I'm willing to suffer and die if necessary to get him right and to see that he's on the wrong side.
The time for the healing of the wounds has come. The moment to preach the chasms that divides us has come. The time to build is upon us.
Religions provide us with basically 2 competing myths or stories about the future, about who we should become instead of who we are. One story promises lands of milk and honey, of paradise and the lushness of the gardens of Eden. To get there is simple. Follow the rules, the commandments, the heuristics of the faith. The other story is the story of rapture corrupts, the day of judgment when payment is due for all the sins committed to gods, to humans, or to the environment. So far, neither future has arrived, but both futures find their markets. Now, these two myths were supposed to help humans to make their choices of futures. We do not know what myths dominated the conception of futures before Genesis arrived some 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, but we can hunch that conflicts of the futures of the past have been offered to humans also down there in deep, deep time. Gods were mind creations to help humans control an adverse, dangerous environment, always offering a scarcity of resources. Limits to existence have been a faithful companion through the evolution of human society. This is my genetic lineage as mapped by the Genographic Project. I surprisingly come out of Africa, and my ancestors wandered north and over to the Middle East, and then turned to the steppes of Eurasia. Some went further east and some went north, and my lineage turned west. Go west, young man. And here I am. And this is a fascinating story in its only beginning to be told. The scientists are finding more and more of fossil DNA, and we will know this story much more in detail in only a few years. The book of Revelation, the final book of the Bible, basically tells the same story as modern environmentalism. If you, the humans, misbehave, I will send you floods, locusts, earthquakes, hurricanes, droughts, wildfires, beasts, and in the end, the great deluge, the rising of the seas, which is the cleansing of your sins. We, the humans, have been provided with choice, always at a crossroad, this way or that way, left or right, pragmatic or principled, win or lose. These are the stories of our lives. I doubt that genetics and social evolution will ever provide any simple binary choice. The future lies in the cobweb of complexities. I rather believe, or I want to believe, that we will find solutions to deal with the ever novel, ever next web of complexities. We have given this process a name. We call it globalization. A process with no finality. Nain Chanda has made this process tangible through his beautiful book, Bound Together. Globalization is but a pragmatic learning, adaptation, and innovation process. It's not a steady state, and will never be. Never be. Globalization involves our ability to invent ever more resourceful knowledge, technologies, and forms of social organization and interactions, relationships, with a wider biophysical system. No end in sight, but feared by many. Listen to this. This is a quotation. The world is too big for us. Too much is going on. Too many crimes. Too much violence and excitement. Try as you will get behind in the race in spite of yourself. It's a constant strain to keep pace, and still you lose ground. Science empties its discoveries on you so fast that you stagger beneath them in hopeless bewilderment. The political world now changes so rapidly. You're out of breath trying to keep pace with who's in and who's out. Everything is high pressure. Human nature can't endure much more. This we could read in the Atlantic Journal on June 16, 1833. Our destiny is to keep this process and ourselves alive. To support this, it is our task over the next few days to keep it going. Thank you.